What is going on? Welcome to the NFL Draft Day 2 edition. And boy, oh boy, the Bears have just drafted. See, so they traded with Jacksonville, turned it on right in time for Rick to see his team. Bills, Giants have made a selection. Here it is. Stand up, New York. Listen. What a time to be a Giants fan. What's up, Liam? In the chat. Ginger. Bills, New York Football Giants. John Michael Schmitz. Center. There's your center. So you heard Bill talking about with the two defensive, Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter, that the Giants Twitter was saying that they need to get a center. They got to block these mofos. So here it is. Center, John Michael Schmitz, overall grade 84, athleticism 73, production 80. Minnesota, you got to get your lineman from the Midwest. I'm a little biased on that, but Dabo is shaking hands, dabbing people up. So I got to do a little bit of catch up here, guys. I hope we package our fourth and fifth rounders to move up to late second or early third. And dude, this is the craziest part. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was going live and then I had to move it 5 minutes. I left the cord here that I used to plug my mic into the Mac. That's why I had to use my headset. And now here I am. I can't find it at home and I got to use the headset still. Cowboy selection is in. Buffalo is on the clock as we await the Cowboys' newest player. So this is round 2, pick 27. I thought that they were going to pick a tight end yesterday, and they proved me wrong. But I watched some news earlier today saying that this is a thick tight end class. Let's see what they do here. Who is the best tight end available now? Luke Schoonmaker. Tight end! Oh, Michigan. All right, so as I pull up best available here, says Darnell Washington is ranked 4th, but this wouldn't be on best available because he was just drafted. So let me go to the draft cast here, see if I can pull up some info. Overall grade 76. Ginger said the tree is a staple to the channel. Do you see what I covered it in? That's pretty dope, right? We have like 10 picks left. What do you have the tree covered up for? Because I don't know where else to put that banner. I ordered the banner and I don't know where else to put it. I can't really hang it on the wall because I'm going to block my autographed football. I guess I could move a jersey, but I don't want to do that either. Because it's a vertical flag. It's not a horizontal one. All right, so Jinja hoping that he gets to move up. So I'm trying to get the draft order up here. So we got 10 more picks. Yeah, about 10 more picks in the second round. And then we got the third round. And that's where we're going to see Denver get some guys, which I need. I'm like a fiend at this point. I need my team. Mona, glad you made it home safe. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for watching. It was quite an adventure, by the way. It took a lot. I'll tell you about it later, but every flight I had was delayed in the bad way because I had a connecting flight. So here we go. I got the tracker up here. We're in the draft cast. Says Buffalo's pick is in right now. Oh, great. We're already in the third round. Are you kidding me? Oh, no, that's their next pick. Oh, God, that scared me. That scared me. Okay, Buffalo's next pick is round 3, pick 28. I thought it was saying Buffalo's pick is in, and the next pick will be round 3, 28. I was like, no. It's like yesterday it took 4 hours. How could it already be over? Team. I want to see everybody that's been picked. Why is this so difficult? Rounds. Here we go. Rounds. All right, now I can catch myself up. So the first pick was Joey Porter Jr. Of course it was. The Steelers got lucky. Oh, they moved up to trade places with Chicago. And Chicago's in full rebuild right now. Will Levis goes to Tennessee. I had Tennessee moving up in late in the first round yesterday. Wow. So Tennessee is the team that gets him. Okay. Sam Laporta, then Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. Oh no. Goes to the Raiders to replace Darren Waller. Great. All right. So Denver has not decided to move up. Wow. You know, here's Buffalo's latest pick. Round 2, pick 59. Here we go. Bills Mafia over everything. You know how I feel about the Raiders? That's how I feel about the Raiders. With the 59th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Bills select O'Cyrus Torrence. I was actually I just had his bio up because he was the second positional ranked offensive guard. And I was like, damn, there's still a number 2 position rank open. Torrence is one of the most dominant interior offensive linemen in the country last season. Has excellent size and consistency, gets movement in the run game. He latches on with his big hands and controls defensive linemen while laterally as a zone blocker. He doesn't change direction well, but he has good length and a powerful punch. Torrence rarely gives ground as a pass protector. Best offensive guard in the country, most dominant in the country. And here Buffalo is going to pick him in the second round. That's great value. That's great value. And now Jacksonville did move back with the Bears. And now Jacksonville is on the clock because the pick is in for the Bengals. Here we go. Let's see who they go with here. Bengals need to beef up that defense. DJ Turner, cornerback, Michigan. Now we talked about it earlier today that this was a heavy cornerback draft, so you have a lot of talent here. And Ginger said, "Damn, I wanted him in Indy. We need a guard." You're talking about Osiris Torrance. Yeah, that would have been a solid pick, especially if you're gonna, throw in Anthony Richardson early into the fire. You got to protect him. So Turner, this is a good cornerback. He was in the top 10 of corners. Oh crap! Hold on 1 second. I got to take this call. Damn it. 1 second. Oh man, everybody left. Understandable, but I'm still here. Gonna keep rocking this thing out. This is not going to get in the way of me streaming this draft, damn it. I have crossed from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast to get this draft live streamed, and damn it, we're gonna do it. Oh, Brian Cushing announcing the draft. So the Eagles had traded the pick to the Texans. The Texans select Juice Scruggs. Juice Scruggs, center out of Penn State. He was the third positionally ranked center here. Ginger said, do you think wearing the Russ or Satan jersey will be the luckiest week one for you guys? I said I would wear one opening kickoff, so I have to stick to my word. I'm still here, buddy. Always staying. Damn it. Oh, Ginge, thank you. You know what? This is gonna sound crazy, but I think it's got to be the Russ jersey, because last year I went to Russ's first game as a Bronco, and it was at Seattle, and I went into that Hawk's nest, and we need to repeat that to beat the curse. You have to wear the jersey. It has to be week one opening kickoff, and the Broncos have to win, and then the curse is gone. The Denver Broncos pick is in. Let's go. We're talking about the Broncos, and the Broncos are on the clock. What? Okay, so let's see what's going on here. The Broncos. Did they just move up here? I'm seeing some arrows. The Denver Broncos just got welcomed by Rich Eisen to the NFL draft. He said, welcome to the draft. Our first pick. Let's go. Sean Payton's first decision as a head coach for the Broncos. Who is it going to be? What's important to Sean Payton? We're about to find out. DeMarcus Ware, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Super Bowl 50 champion, announcing. Woo! Marvin Mims, wide receiver, Oklahoma. I didn't understand why there wasn't more buzz about him, they're saying. Sudden release, separation quick, Emmanuel Sanders type athlete. Vertical speed. Wow. Marvin Mims Jr. 2022 first team All Big Ten. Denver goes receiver. And Sean Payton said it. He said, if there's a guy that we have circled on our board and we get to a certain point in the draft and he's still available, we're going to move up to get him. So the fact that they moved up to get him, Sean Payton shaking hands with people. Oh, man. So now it's Marvin Mims, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and Tim Patrick. Wow. Denver coming in with a bang. Mims is solid. Mims is an undersized receiver who runs well, sells double moves, and tracks the deep ball well. He has the burst to produce after the catch and flashes as a punt returner. He has the potential to make strides in that area and is a tough matchup working out in the slot thanks to his quickness and foot speed. Wow. Guys, I'm so happy right now. Watching some highlights of him right now. He has very good body adjustment to the ball. Whoa! Oh yeah, he has great body adjustment. Honestly, so many of these balls are thrown and they just look like they shouldn't be caught, and then he does very good adjustments to his body. Unlike Judy or Patrick, more versatile in that wide receiver room. And look, we didn't have Tim Patrick all last year. There was no Tim Patrick last year. KJ Hamler was gone pretty much the whole season. Jerry Jeudy was, our offense was terrible. This is it. Doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Man. The draft, football, America. So happy. So Marvin Mims was the 9th ranked receiver in the draft. So this is a top 10 prospect at the receiver position. He's 5'11", 183. When they say undersized, I mean 5'11". It's not crazy to be 5'11" as a receiver. A slot receiver, not crazy. It's not like he's 5'9" or 5'10", It's closer to 6 feet. And what's crazy is that the Broncos traded up from Kansas City. Kansas City had that pick through Detroit. So Kansas City gets it from Detroit. Denver trades up, and Kansas City allows the Denver Broncos, their rival, to select Marvin Mims. And now, what did Denver have to give up, though? That's what I need to know. Zach Pickens, defensive tackle from South Carolina. Knockback, quick hands, feet. Head coach loves him. So Chicago goes defense here. 291 pounds, runs a 4.8. That's fast for 291 pounds. This is a big, big boy. And you see a lot of these guys that are almost 300 pounds are basically just run stuffers. This guy has a bull rush. He can get after the quarterback. He's got it. He looks like he's really good at reading stuff like halfback delays. Seems like a real solid pick there. They got the best tackle in the draft from Tennessee. They go defensive tackle from Florida. Then they go cornerback with Stevenson, and now Pickens. I just can't believe Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter went to the Eagles. That is just crazy. So Philadelphia is on the clock. And let's see who they get here. Let me mute that during the commercial. So 2 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock. Ginger said, I ran a 4.8 at 145. Crazy to think a man that size is that fast. And that's how I felt yesterday when I was like, imagine how Tom Brady feels seeing players that are 300 pounds run a faster 40 than him. I mean, look, I'm no one to talk, but I'm just saying it's just crazy to think. I'm not in the NFL, so I can, I can kick my feet up and make fun of it. Tom Brady's, an NFL player. So imagine you're in the NFL and you run, a 5-second 40-yard dash, and then you see someone 300 pounds do it. I hate when the computer's just running slow. Is it because I got back in town and didn't, let me restart it. Didn't restart it. Sometimes the computer just needs a restart. It definitely doesn't need an update. So, man, so Denver was supposed to pick back to back. They were supposed to pick at, I think, 66 and 67. And now that they moved up to 63, I'm wondering if they're going to be able to pick at, a couple more picks if they're picking again, or did they have to give that to Kansas City? I'm really hoping we get to keep that pick. Obviously, I like the pick with Mims, but at the same time, I've been waiting a long time for my team to get on the clock. But if we had to give it up to get Mims, honestly, I'm cool with that. I'm cool like that. Cool like that. Oh yeah, computer's running way faster now. Just needed to restart. That's it. Here we go. NFL draft. All right, we're back. So the pick is in for the Eagles. And let's see where they go. So Denver is picking at 67. Okay. So Denver, whatever they gave up, it was not a second round or third round pick. Let's see who's the best available. Denver picking at 67. So the Eagles are picking back to back. Wow. So the Broncos are on the clock. And the Eagles drafted both of their players just now. Looks like Zach Pascal. Oh, those are their losses. So if you pick back to back, you're allowed to, apparently, you're allowed to take all the time you need. So they're going to announce both picks at the same time, which means Denver is on the clock right now. Let's go. Let's go. I mean, you almost had the Eagles almost had Kelsey retire. So it may, I don't know if it says offensive line is a need, but you might want to start thinking about your future there. I wonder. Here we go. GLES. Guard. So they go offensive line here. And here we go. Now I got it. Front. They got 9th overall grade. And now here's their next pick. Ooh, Sidney Brown, DB. He was the 3rd ranked safety. So we're going to start with Tyler Steen, tackle, Alabama, excellent size, Vanderbilt transfer, mirror, absorb. Looks like these highlights. Looks like he's good at setting the edge here. Oh, he's a run blocker. And now let's see the safety, Sidney Brown from Illinois, 3rd ranked safety. He plays high and lines up over the slot, but he's best playing in the box, where he's frequently lined up at Illinois. He has instincts, quickness, and a motor that make him a competitive run defender playing at that level. Brown is a ball magnet who reads the quarterback, plucks the ball out of the air, and flashes the ability to locate the ball while running with tight ends down the field. And one of the questions I had going into this next season, Turbo Darren. Hello, Broncos fan. We are rivals, but don't worry. I pressed the like button. What is going on? Happy to have you in here, man. I gotta say, I was thinking with the Sean Payton thing that they would probably end up getting a Peyton, not Peyton Hillis, Taysom Hill type player, and Sean Payton loves those kinds of guys that can just, be a Army Swiss knife. And I don't know if they're going to get a super athletic tight end or somebody like that later. But Sean Payton, one thing we know is he's got a good eye for talent. And this is our first draft seeing Sean Payton in our draft room. So every pick he makes to me is I get to learn a little bit about this guy. Here we go. Their second selection is in DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus Ware. Drew Sanders, linebacker out of Arkansas. This was the 3rd ranked inside linebacker in the draft. Okay. Wow. All-American selection, first team All-American. Wow, this guy's got a motor. Versatile linebacker who can play off the ball and rush off the edge. An instinctive run defender who takes sound angles and has an impressive closing burst. He's effective matching up with running backs in coverage and can convert speed to power rushing the passer. He has some tightness and will miss a few tackles when forced to curl back in space. Number 3 at the position, 6'4", 235 pounds. The newest member of the Denver Broncos is a linebacker. We have Josey Jewell, who led Alexander led in tackles. Alexander Singleton. But look, none of those two names jump off the paper, but we haven't had any real issues with them. So one issue I will say that Denver had a lot last season with their linebackers specifically was being able to cover running backs running backs, I mean, they would just run a simple swing route and get 6 yards at a time. And you just see our linebackers chasing them out of bounds. So it says right here specifically that he's effective matching up with running backs in coverage. And I really think when Sean Payton sat down and looked at the film from last season, that this was something that needed to be addressed. If I know it, a guy as smart as Sean Payton also knows it. I would bet anything he's here for that specific reason. But I like the pick. I like the pick because Denver showed a film weakness and it's being addressed. And that's literally what the draft is all about. So the 2 picks for the Broncos, we get Mims, the wide receiver from Oklahoma, and then Drew Sanders, the 3rd ranked linebacker in the draft. I'm pretty pumped up about this. Let me see a mock draft of where people had him being picked before the draft started. So here's the mock draft. Let's see. Day 2 mock draft. That's not a mock draft. That's the real deal. Commercial's over. The Lions have their pick in. Lions had an impressive draft yesterday. Here we go. The Detroit Lions traded up. Marvin Mims was going to go 78th overall to the Green Bay Packers. Amon-Ra St. Brown calling the pick. Hendon Hooker. What? Hendon Hooker. Wow. So Jared Goff has arguably a top 5 year at the. This is crazy. I was just talking to my uncle earlier about how good Jared Goff did and the fact that he doesn't get a lot of credit because he's just to himself kind of a quiet guy, but he was putting up points. And now Detroit sends up their star receiver, Amon St. Brown, to call the pick, and it's potentially his new quarterback the franchise is planning. I am so shocked right now. The Lions would go this direction right now. Is this just the value? Is this is not the place I thought he was going. This is not it, man. This is very surprising. Wow. Unbelievable. Wow. I thought maybe the Rams would have done Hendon Hooker. Matthew Stafford, getting old. Baker Mayfield, sent him to Tampa. Jared Goff's the young quarterback compared to Matthew Stafford. I I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what message they're sending right now. They must have called Jared Goff and said, "Don't worry, buddy." I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Ginger said, "How crazy of an athlete is Richardson to be bigger than the third-ranked inside linebacker? Not downplaying the pick, just saying how crazy of an athlete. Richardson is an alien. He's an alien. The same uncle I was telling you I talked to, by the way, Casey in the chat saying, what's up to Ninja and Turbo. Happy to have you in here, Casey. Honestly, we were talking about Anthony Richardson earlier, and we were saying how he was, my uncle said, the best quarterback in the draft. So he's not a pro analysis guy, but did he just say the Rams traded it to Texans? The Texans select Tank Dell. Tank Dell. I thought he said Emmanuel Dell. Maybe his nickname's Tank. So Tank Dell goes off the board here. And the Raiders are on the clock. The Raiders have addressed the defensive end need. They addressed their tight end need. I don't want to talk about it. But they still have the defensive tackle, offensive guard, and cornerback needs. And what's crazy is Darnell Washington is still on the board. Darnell Washington, 6'7", 284 pounds, and he's the fourth-ranked tight end at Georgia. Do the Raiders go double up on tight ends? We saw with Aaron Hernandez and Gronkowski, right? He's used to having two great tight ends. What if the Raiders go Darnell Washington, and on the other side they go the Notre Dame Mayers? That's my prediction here. It's harder to predict in the third round, though. Here we go. By the way, while the Raiders are on the clock, sorry. Byron Young, defensive tackle. So we said it. They needed a defensive tackle, so they get their defensive tackle, Byron Young. Byron Young is off the board now. So let's defensive tackle. He had 47 tackles. Last season, 4 sacks. Great leverage. Knows how to use his hands. Byron Young. Young locks out, quickly locates the ball. He's a top 10 defensive tackle in this draft at number 9. The Saints are on the clock and their pick is already in. So now the Saints have made their pick. Wow. So the Saints go running back. Kendre Miller was the 4th ranked running back in this draft. Everybody, they knew about the top 2. This guy wasn't far behind at number 4. He's a prick and slide runner who's light on his feet, makes defenders miss in the backfield, weaves in and out of cuts without losing momentum. He has good contact balance. He flashes after the catch, but he's not overly reliable catching the football and is not a well-versed route runner. So TCU, man, this guy, I remember when the offseason first started, people were really high on Kendre Miller. 5'11", 215 pounds, trying to get a dual threat thing going on with Alvin Kamara. So this is that part of the draft where people are picking guys to come in and play right away. So the Saints, the newest team to have a dual threat. The Saints played Latavius Murray last year, and Latavius Murray became the first player to score a touchdown in London 2 weeks in a row. Because he scored a touchdown for the Saints, then he got put on the practice squad, then the Broncos signed him off the practice squad, and then Denver went to London to play the Jaguars, and then he scored a touchdown. And it's like, that has never happened before. That dude, talk about jet lag going there. But my point is that Saints needed that set. If they wanted to do the dual threat, the thing is, you look at how much money they're paying Alvin Kamara, and you're paying Alvin Kamara that much money to be a 3-down back, man. But I guess they want to keep him fresh. I don't know. Is this maybe his replacement? They're thinking they can split some reps, and then in a year they can cut Alvin Kamara. We know that Kamara, if you had Kamara on your fantasy team, last year was not a good year. So, running backs, sometimes they get the tread on their tire and they wear down quick. And also, you got to remember the suspension from everything that he did. Mickey Loomis' potential Alvin Kamara suspension won't influence who we pick. Mickey Loomis said that 2 days ago. But Mickey Loomis I've learned a lot about this guy because Sean Payton, that was his GM he worked with. And Mickey Loomis would make an article like this surface so that nobody jumps them. They don't want to know that they're picking a running back. You never tell people who you're after. So in this case, the opposite is true. And the potential Alvin Kamara trade is probably the reason that the Saints have just drafted their newest running back, Kendre Miller. And you got a top 5 running back in this year's draft class. So they're looking at him to come in and make a difference right away. And KC Durable, I want to offer a promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, chatbots. The price is lower. Nah, no thanks. I don't want chatbots. I only want real people here. We're after quality, not quantity on this channel. The fact that people pay for subscribers blows my mind. So right now we have the Cardinals on the clock. No, their pick is in. Man, the draft moves faster on this time, doesn't it? And then, man, the 49ers, to close out the third round, they pick 3 of the last 4 picks. Cardinals and Titans have swapped picks, and when you do that, you know who you want. The Rams have just traded down again. The Rams have traded down, which means the Giants are on the clock. Shut up, Bill. Giants on the clock, 73. Here's the Cardinals selection. Garrett Williams, cornerback, Syracuse. Instincts, quickness. Those are the 2 words for him. And he flashes the ability to jump routes. He limits production after the catch. When he doesn't get there in time to make a play on the ball, he's competitive, matching up in press, and he has a short memory when he does get beat. If that was ever going to be important, the NFL is where it's most important. Short-term memory. Williams is a wrap-up tackler, willing to step up and run support. And the Cardinals have made their move. And now I think the same thing. So the Giants pick is in. They said they had to go center, but we know they're going receiver too, so I agree with Schrader here. Jalin Hyatt. So they do go wide receiver here. They go Jalin Hyatt. And that was the best receiver on the board right now. He's number 7th at his position. He's an explosive playmaker with the burst to quickly eat up cushions and second gear to get behind the coverage. He's at his best running down the deep ball. He's not an ankle breaker. He's not going to break many tackles, but his speed makes him a threat after the catch. His hands, he's a hand catcher with the ability to pluck the ball out of the air. He will drop some passes. Hyatt needs to get stronger and grow as a route runner. But this is a top 10 receiver in the draft, graded pretty high for a receiver, 83 overall grade. Overall ranked in the top 50. And here you are at 73 getting that. That's good value. So the Giants add a speedy guy. And Dabble looks happy about that. The Giants draft room celebrating the steal for where they were picking. And now the best wide receiver on the board is Cedric Tillman. He was the 8th ranked wide receiver. He's 6'3", 213 pounds, so way different. He's a tall receiver. He's got great route running. He's got a big catch radius and strong hands. That is the next best receiver, and I predict right here the Browns are going to go that way. Get Deshaun Watson a new toy. They're booing. Here we go. Yep, got it. That might be the only one we get right today. Legendary Pest Control in the chat. What's going on? LPC in the house. Y'all, I got my first one right. My first one right. It gets really hard in the third round, but after the pick that the Giants just had, I took a look at, because that was the 7th best receiver in this draft. So I went to best available, clicked on receiver, and I saw number 1, Cedric Tillman out of Tennessee. And I looked at who was on the clock, and wide receivers tend to go back to back. If you notice that from the first round, once wide receivers go on these little streaks, right? We're in a wide receiver a straight right now with the wide receivers. So we have Josh Downs, who will be the last receiver in the top 10. He's 5'9", 171 out of North Carolina. We have Atlanta on the clock right now, and they do have needs at wide receiver, so they could go Josh Downs. They also need a cornerback, so you do have higher value at the cornerback position in Kelee Ringo. Kelee Ringo, 6'2", 207 pounds, and he's the 8th ranked cornerback in the draft versus getting the 10th ranked wide receiver. Atlanta wants to run the ball. What goes with running the football, playing good defense? I think they go cornerback here. Kelee Ringo comes off the board. He's a tall press man corner with excellent speed. He matches up well with bigger wide receivers. He can locate the ball and pluck it out of the air. He does a great job contesting jump balls and batting down passes without forcing contact. He has tight hips, however. He leads to redirection slowness. His lack of change of direction quickness allows for too much separation at times. In run support, Ringo's physical. He keeps blockers off his frame. This makes sense to me. He's an 82 overall grade. You want to get the best player. If you need, say they need a quarterback, I don't think they're going quarterback. I'm going to cancel that one. Defensive end and defensive tackle. Wow. They got a guy here from Northwestern. Adet Tomiwa Adeborwar. Can't pronounce that. Adeborwar is a 6th ranked at his position from Northwestern. And then at defensive tackle, the best available right now is Saiki Ika, and he's the 8th ranked player. So I got it between Adeborwar or the cornerback Kelee Ringo from Georgia. We'll see what they do here when the commercial break is up. Booing LMAO. Cheers. Cheers, cheers. Hope you're enjoying this draft. I know I am. Back in the studio. Look at this. I haven't opened this. This is a collectible. Mamba Forever. Kobe. All right. Darnell Washington still on the board. We're hearing here from Ian Rappaport that there were teams that were a little concerned about his knees. They were a little swollen at the combine. So the Falcon selection is in. Let's see if they go corner here. Ooh. Zach Parrish. So an edge. Okay. Zach Harrison is the guy that goes here. Zach Harrison. Let me. Oh my gosh! Devon Achane is still available? That's who I wanted. That's who I wanted Denver to get. Ah! No! No! I thought for sure he was going to be picked up already. He's right here. Devon Achane. Nobody. Dude, people don't know how good this dude's going to be. Devon Achane is going to be good. Devon Achane's going to be good. Whoever gets him. Jair Brown is still available. The number 2 ranked safety out of Penn State. New England has made their selection. Oh, man. I really hope they don't go Devon Achane here. Marte Mapu. This is his favorite player in the entire draft. Linebacker, Sacramento State. Wow. This dude looks great. 2022 first team All Pro, FCS All American selection. The Rams already have their pick in, and they oh no, man, they were trying to trade the I'm drawing a blank, Florida State running back. That dude's going to be really good. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name. I hope that they're happy. Rams, LA. Please don't get Devon Achane. Byron Young. Yep. That is great value there. Byron Young was on my list. Number 8, defensive end, 6'2", 250. Slippery pass rusher with an explosive first step, active hands, quick feet, solid bend, outstanding closing burst, disruptive run defender. 8th ranked defensive end in the draft. His the backside of it is he's not nearly as effective when asked to set a hard edge, then disengage, and then disengage. The Packers pick is in. Oh man, the Packers. No, they still got their Aaron Jones and the big powerful running back. Why am I forgetting everyone's name today? Because we're in the draft. AJ Dillon, thank you. They're not going to go running back. They're not going. They're not going. Keely Ringo's still available. Darnell Washington. He's going. Darnell Washington. Tucker Kraft. South Dakota State tight end. So they do go tight end, but they don't get Darnell Washington. Those knee concerns are a real thing. But they get the 6'5", 254-pound tight end. He turns into a big back after the catch. He's smooth transitioning upfield. He's quick and has good contact balance. He has the speed and toughness to make plays down the seam. Kraft has the big hands that pluck the ball out of the air, catches passes in stride, and makes contested catches over the middle. And he was the 6th highest grade tight end in this draft. But Darnell Washington, the big surprise here, still on the board, 4th at his position, 85 overall grade he got versus Tucker Kraft, who's a 79. So I really do think something might be with these knees, but not to sound like a broken record, though, I'm really hoping that Denver moves back up into this draft and gets Devon Achane. Colts Nation, Ginger. Josh Downs, Carolina. So we were just talking about Josh Downs. We thought that he was going to get picked about 3 picks ago. I say we. Downs is an explosive slot receiver. I read everything about him just a little while ago. Good pick, Ginger. You got a top 10 wide receiver in this year's draft on your team. Anthony Richardson's got some help. You got a good one here. He sits in windows, so that's a young quarterback's best friend right there. A guy that finds space and just sits in it. He's got the toughness to make plays over the middle when working against zone. He's instinctive open field runner with a burst and threaten after the catch. Downs can pluck the ball out of the air, flashes the ability to make tough contested catches. He lacks the second gear to take the top off the coverage. It doesn't matter, man. You don't need one wide receiver that can do all of that stuff. If you're a slot receiver, you can be a great slot receiver. I mean, look at the Patriots. They had a lot of great slot receivers that didn't have the speed to go over. Wes Walker was one that comes to mind. Amendola, Edelman. These guys didn't have the speed to go take the top off the coverage, but they're great slot receivers. And Josh Downs, maybe one of the best slots in the draft here. So, Ginger, feel good about that. And I do too, because that means Devon Achane is still on the clock. I mean, on the board, and the Carolina Panthers are on the clock. Carolina Panthers are probably not going running back here because they got themselves. They traded CMC, and then they were doing just fine. Says here that they need a defensive end and an inside linebacker. If they need a defensive end, then that guy's name I can't pronounce. That's high value right here. He was 51 overall. We're in the third round, pick 17. Okay. So I would go here with that Northwestern name I can't pronounce. Adetomiwa Adebawore. I'm going to keep trying, y'all. I'm not going to stop trying. Kyle, at the bar, and had to check in. This is the best Giants draft ever. Glad you're having a good time, man. Go Giants. I'm loving what my team's doing. You're loving what your team's doing. You know, Dabble looked like he was happy as hell too. He's having a good time. You got your receiver, you got your center. So here we go. The pick is in for the Panthers. Pick number 80. And you have a guy that was number 51. We'll see if they go and get a defensive end or if they go with the defensive tackle. They need an inside linebacker as well. The Pittsburgh Steelers traded their pick to the Panthers. See you in a little bit, Bill. The Panthers select DJ Johnson. So they do go. It said they needed inside linebacker, so they end up, or it said they needed an outside linebacker. They go inside linebacker here. Explosive, ideal frame, downside, hot and cold. I'm just reading the screen here. Don't get mad. Tennessee needs a tight end. Darnell Washington still available. Keely Ringo still available. I'm gonna bet that Darnell Washington or Keely Ringo are coming off the board right now. One of them's coming off. It's time. See who they go with here. Their previous pick. Round 3 pick. Pick is in. Missed playoffs for first time since 2018. Tennessee on the clock. Who did Carolina go? Come on. First losing record in 5 seasons under Mike Vrabel. Tennessee was depleted with injuries. Mike Vrabel kept that team from having the first overall pick. They almost beat Kansas City Sunday night in Kansas City with Malik Willis, who had less than like 3 completions. Mike Vrabel is the glue in Tennessee, and they'll be fine as long as they keep Mike Vrabel. That dude is a real legit head coach. I'd say top 5 in the NFL. Mike Vrabel, yep. Bill Belichick, Sean Payton. Mike Tomlin, of course. Mike Vrabel. And gonna have to go with the Rams head coach. Oh no, Kyle Shanahan and the Rams head coach. McVay, Sean McVay. So here we go. Titans selection. They just skipped the Panthers. So let's see. Does Tennessee get Darnell Washington or Keely Ringo here? Dang, it's already dark over there. You can't do that. He just said Tennessee, home of the best barbecue in the nation. He's in Kansas City. Who are they picking? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Tyjae Spears, running back, Tulane. He's the 8th ranked running back. He had a 69 overall grade. That's a good sign. Overall, he was ranked at 104. And we are not that deep in, so you can make an argument that this might have been premature. But when you love a guy, you love a guy. KC, cute puppy. This dude's not a puppy. This dude forever will look like a puppy. He is almost 1. And KC and Tennessee have a barbecue rivalry. Yep, I love it. I love it. I'll be the judge. So, Tampa Bay now, they got their pick in. I was going to say they're on the clock, but they got their pick in. And let's see who they go with here. Buccaneers selection. So now Seattle's on the clock. Yaya Diaby, defensive end. He was the 12th ranked defensive end, 6'3", 263 pounds. He ran a 4.51 at 263 pounds. Ooh. 90. He received a 90 for athleticism. This is a pass rusher. You heard about the contract disputes going on with Devin White. They get themselves another edge out of Louisville. He had 9 sacks last year, 14 tackles for a loss. Denver's just traded. Seattle was on the clock. Now Denver's on the clock. What if they're getting Devon Achane? What if they get Devon Achane, buddy? What if they do it? What if they get Devon Achane? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be awesome? Let's see who they get. We still got Darnell Washington. We got Kelee Ringo, who's the 8th ranked cornerback. Does he go opposite of Patrick Surtain? I think it would be smart. Denver said they're only moving up if there's somebody they absolutely have to have. Who is that guy that Sean Payton circled? Why did they go to commercials before the Broncos pick? Damn. Oh man, I'm so happy about this. After not getting a pick in the first 2 rounds, Denver goes and makes a splash in the 3rd round, picking 3 times. Oh, come on. Another commercial. All right. So here's what I'm hoping goes here. Who's the best center available? I got to see who the best center is available right now. The best center. We do need a center. I mean, we are in bad shape at center right now. Lloyd Cushenberry was the #1 ranked center 3 years ago when we drafted him, and it just did not pan out. The next best center available is Luke Whippler. He lacks ideal length and strength. That's not great. Ricky Stromberg, the 5th best, 6'3", 306 pounds. Literally the same size as the Luke Whippler guy. 6'3", 309 pounds. What do you mean? Dude, they literally say for Luke Whippler that he lacks ideal length. Oh, maybe his arm length. I'm like, dude, all these people are 300 and between 309 and 303 pounds, and they're all 6'3". I guess you got to have those long arms, ideally. But Jason Kelce doesn't have super long arms. So let's see. Do they go cornerback here? Do they go get another linebacker? The #1 linebacker in the #1 inside linebacker is available, Trenton Simpson. Let's see. Who is it? Send DeMarcus Ware back out there for the 3rd pick. Why not? What's your guess for Denver's next pick? I want Devon Achane, but I think that they're probably gonna get a center or linebacker, probably inside linebacker. Riley Moss, defensive back. So they do go corner. They I don't know how I feel yet. They're saying they don't know if he's a corner or a safety. He's a white corner. Has that happened before? He was the 9th, or he's the 10th ranked corner. TV said safety. But then they came on and said that he's going to play corner. No! No! One pick! One pick after the Broncos! No! No! Devon Achane is gone. One pick after the Broncos moved up. That was my guy. Dang it! Oh. Oh, man. No, I know. My family lives in Tennessee, and I'm very familiar with the Chiefs and their barbecue. I knew you were serious. Damn it, man. Devon Achane is going to Miami. I am Not happy. Denver had him. They were right there, man. They moved up. They could have grabbed him. This Riley Moss guy better pay off. Can't believe it. Deion Henley, Washington State. I wanted Denver to draft Devon Achane. They're saying it's Achane now, but Texas A&M's website, I looked it up when I made a YouTube short about the best players at the combine, and I got down this deep rabbit hole into Devon Achane. That's how it literally on Texas A&M's website, it showed you how to pronounce it, and it was like A-U-H chain. Anyway, I fell in love with this guy, and I was thinking maybe he could fall all the way to Denver's first pick at 3. Denver picks twice, and then frickin' I look at the board and I see Devon Achane still there. And then I'm like, oh my God, he's still there. And all these people are picking and they're not picking him, and I'm happy. And then Denver moves up to swap with Seattle. And I think that they're going up to get Devon Achane, and they draft a cornerback, a white cornerback. Not that, I just never seen a white cornerback. I can't think of one. Riley Moss. And then one pick later, Devon Achane gets picked to Miami. One pick later. Devon Achane's gonna be good, man. He's gonna be good. If they utilize him if they utilize him the right way, he's gonna be good. Look, I only went there because the draft ESPN people went there, and if they can go there with all their censorship, I can definitely go there. But come on, we're all thinking it. I mean, a white cornerback. It is, you know, it is something that you don't see very often. Name a white cornerback that's starting in the NFL right now. It's the only position that doesn't really, have, oh, it could be anybody. There's probably just as much black quarterbacks as there are white quarterbacks in the NFL. 25 years ago, it was like Donovan McNabb, and maybe Steve McNair. You had Dante Culpepper, but these guys were pioneers. Now it's like every position is very, CMC is a running back, I mean, but cornerback hasn't really evolved for white people. They do not play cornerback. On, I don't really care if they do or don't, but I'm just reporting the news. 4.45 40 39-inch vertical. Four, 5 40 39-inch vertical. Not bad. Not bad. So Baltimore's on the clock now, and they got their pick in. I'm moving on from the Devon Achane thing. Thank you for letting me have that time. I needed that. But Kelee Ringo is still available, and that is the cornerback I wanted Denver to take. Out of Georgia, 6'2", 207 pounds. Kelee Ringo. That's who I wanted. And meanwhile, we still have the some. Do the Ravens need a linebacker? Because Clemson has the number 1 running back in the draft. It says they need a linebacker. It's only a matter of time. Here we go. Or maybe they're gonna grab that corner from Georgia. Oh yeah, and don't forget, Darnell Washington's still available. Yep, Trenton Simpson, gone. Linebacker, Clemson. He was the number 1 ranked inside linebacker in this year's draft. It was not a crazy good inside linebacker draft this year. And I say that because Trenton Simpson is the number 1 inside linebacker. He's an 81 overall, though, where some of the other number 1s are in the 90s. But this dude, they're saying Devin White is his comparison. So Jason Sehorn. I remember Jason Sehorn. My mom had a crush on Jason Sehorn, and that's the only reason I know who Jason Sehorn is. When I was a kid, I used to love to go to NFL Fanatics and buy jerseys, and there was a Jason Sehorn jersey, and she's like, "You don't know who that is?" And I was like, "No." She was like, "I do." And I'm like, "Okay, stop, Mom. I don't care. Mom, stop." Jason Sehorn. He's Seattle, if I remember her story correctly. And the 49ers have just placed their pick. The pick is in. How cool, though, for Trenton Simpson to go to Baltimore after they draft the best wide receiver for Lamar Jackson. Lamar's their guy. I mean, it would be nice to be drafted to a really, a team that has a chance. '49ers first pick. They're going to get Darnell Washington. Jair Brown. Safety, Penn State. He was the best available at the position. We were looking at his info earlier. Now, Jordan Battle. Why do I know that name? Did Florida State has no, he had to have gone by now. Let me see. Jermaine Johnson III, did he get picked in Jermaine Johnson III? Trying to see if he's available anywhere. Let me see. Rounds. Let's see. He would have been picked in the 2nd round. Dude, Jermaine Johnson III might still be available. Dude, if Jermaine Johnson's still available. Hell, I had a crush on Jason Sehorn. A few drinks, the right moment, you never know. I felt that way about Kirk Cousins after Thanksgiving last year. When he was talking about getting a set of grills. When he said, "I'm going to call my dentist. I think grills are next." I was like, you know what? Is he single? Tank Bigsby, running back out of Auburn, goes to Jacksonville. Decisive, runs through contact, excellent yard after the catch. Jacksonville gets themselves a weapon here. I'm trying to see Tank Bigsby out of Auburn. So he was the best running back. He was the best running back available. You know, Denver should just Denver traded their pick with Seattle to get Jason Sehorn. They should have learned last year to not trade with Seattle ever. There should be a rule. We don't trade with Seattle. Tank Bigsby. He was the 7th ranked running back. Wow. He's patient, above average vision, and they were putting a huge workload on Clemson's running back. I'm so tired of forgetting everyone's name just because it's the off season. He's got a unique name. I got to pull up the roster or I'm going to just get pissed off. Running back. Travis Etienne. Yeah. Travis Etienne. So this is going to be maybe his relief. That's what Jacksonville's hoping for. By the way, the Rams are on the clock and their pick is in. So the last player to go, the 7th ranked running back in the nation, Tank Bigsby from Auburn, 6 foot, 210 pounds, patient, above average vision, and penetrates defenders. I think they write it this on purpose. He's a competitive runner who runs low to the ground and has good balance. He shows the ability to pluck away from his frame and quickly transition upfield as a receiver. In pass pro, Bigsy is a bit inconsistent with technique, but he's willing and effective when squaring up. Solid pick for Jacksonville. I don't see that guy on the board. Tank Bigsby? I don't know why. I got it on mine. So the Rams are on the clock. Their needs right now. Cornerback. They lost Jalen Ramsey in the trade to the Dolphins. I don't know how the Dolphins still have money. I really don't get it. Because they're not paying Tua yet? Well, are they, if they're planning on paying Tua, would they have even, well, Jalen Ramsey's still on the hook for this year financially. So maybe Miami just pulled him in for the year, but at the end of this year, they're going to either have to pay Jalen Ramsey or Tua. And if they just brought in Ramsey for a Super Bowl run, then maybe they're going to go Keely Ringo here and get his replacement. The Giants, man. Little Peter Schrager to tell you how the Giants literally crushed the draft today. Now here's the Rams. Colby Turner. So they go defense, but not cornerback. Colby Turner. 2022 third team, all team. He's an edge rusher. Wanted to see him be more powerful. The Jets. The Cowboys are on the clock. Their pick is in, and we have a guy. I'm not sure who he is. Devarion Overshawn, linebacker out of Texas. So DeMarvion Overshown. So long rangey defender, and you got Micah Parsons there. Now you throw in this dude on the defense. They did trade the Cowboys last season after they had what's his name? Gosh, he literally came to my team. Can't do names today. Randy Gregory. I don't know why names are gone right now. So Randy Gregory commits to being a Cowboy, then he uncommits, and then he signs to Denver for the same contract the Cowboys were offering. And now they go ahead and pick up a linebacker here. It was one of their needs. The Bengals are on the clock here. One of their needs is cornerback, but they got a cornerback last time they drafted. The best fit right now would probably be a running back because Pirine was their other guy. And Pirine actually got signed by the Broncos. So Rashawn Johnson is the best running back on the board right now. So let's see if two Texas players go back to back here. Bill said, I don't see that guy on the board. No, Jalen Johnson, dude, you mentioned. Yeah, I can't find him either. I think he might not have declared. In the Joe Sheen presser yesterday, so do you think trading up one spot for Banks would make you less likely to trade up again? LOL. That got blown out of the water with Hyatt. Yeah, and honestly, the Giants have been from what I just heard, they were patient and they ended up getting who they wanted anyway. So sometimes, I mean, it's just such a gamble. Sometimes you want to be patient and just see how the board falls, but sometimes you love a guy so much that you have to have him. That you have to have him. So linebacker goes to, damn it, stop it. Linebacker going to Buffalo out of Tulane. 312 tackles. So Buffalo just picked, but Cincinnati was on the clock. So did Cincinnati trade with Buffalo? Here we're going to find out. Kansas City just traded up 3 spots. Wow, we're hitting the chaos right now. We're in the thick of it. So the Steelers are on the clock right now. Cincinnati has moved back 3 spots. So Buffalo must have. Who did Buffalo even pick? They've moved on to Kansas City. ESPN's can't even track this. Dorian Williams. Yeah, the linebacker. Okay. My computer's linked to my girlfriend's phone, so when she gets a phone call, it interrupts the screen. It's like she's not even on this side of the country. And somehow it still does it. So Kansas City's pick is in. The best fit right now would be probably offensive tackle because they lost their stellar offensive tackle to the Bengals of all places, their rivalry. The best offensive tackle on the board right now, DeJuan Jones from Ohio State. He's the 8th ranked. And now the computer froze. Here we go. DeJuan Jones, senior from Ohio State. He is the 8th best offensive tackle in the game. All right, so now Roger Goodell comes back out. We thought maybe he was done calling teams. Here he is. Wouldn't it be ironic? The Bengals traded their pick to the Chiefs. If the Chiefs took an offensive lineman, the Chiefs select Wanya Morris, tackle. This is irony at its best. So Orlando Brown goes to Cincinnati, and then here we are in the 3rd round, and Kansas City calls Cincy, and they're like, "You owe us one. You took Orlando Brown from us. We need his replacement." I don't know if that's how the conversation went, but they needed to find a replacement. And Wanya Morris, Oklahoma, started 8 games at right tackle in 2022. He was, according to the board, the 11th, ranked 11th as far as offensive tackles go. We still have, according to the board, the 8th best tackle available with DeJuan Jones. Now, a lot of these guys, man, when we're talking about draft boards, they're analyzing athleticism. They're analyzing the drills and all that kind of stuff, combine. But it's the GMs that get to sit down with them and interview them and get to know them. And that doesn't really reflect on these boards. So Wanya Morris obviously did something to make the Chiefs want him, heard something about him, who knows. But the Chiefs skip a couple offensive tackles that are ranked higher to get their guy from Oklahoma. Ginger said, Bill, you're wild. The Jason Sehorn comment was hilarious. I love it. So now the Steelers are on the clock. They've addressed 3 of their 5 needs already, and we're only in the 3rd round. They needed an offensive tackle, defensive tackle, and a cornerback, and they have addressed all of those. Now they need an inside linebacker and a wide receiver. An inside linebacker and a wide receiver. So the best inside linebacker available, Alabama's Henry To'o. 202. 202. He's the 5th ranked inside linebacker. Alabama. I feel like any player at Alabama, if you got 2 guys that are graded equally, give me the guy that's played at Alabama. Alabama's slogan should be, come to Alabama. You'll make it into the NFL. And to even elaborate more on that, the NFL trivia draft version we did showed that that Notre Dame Fighting Irish actually have brought the most players into the NFL. I guess my lifetime has just been a little different than the way it was maybe 50 years ago or something. He was a freaking handsome man, I'm just saying. I was watching a show with what's his name? The oh, come on. It's on Netflix. It's called Living with Yourself, and it's about this guy that Paul Rudd. It's about this guy that gets promised that his life will be, better if he goes to this massage place, but it's not like a special massage. It's guys that do cloning, so they clone another Paul Rudd, but without any of the defective DNA traits. And when he pulls up into this building, he sees Tom Brady walking out of it. This is episode 1, and Tom Brady goes, "Your first time here?" And then he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "You?" And then he goes, "6." And then he opens his door like he's gone every time he's won a Super Bowl, because they made that show before he won his 7th. But hilarious show, by the way. Tom Brady looks really handsome in that. Bill made me think of that with his freaking handsome comment. Steeler pick, not shocking. Steelers pick, here we go. Arizona's on the clock. Here's the Steelers pick. Darnell Washington. So Kenny Pickett's newest friend, Darnell Washington. He fell way down the draft board. Massive, Mauler, more explosive than Mercedes Lewis. That's actually what's crazy is when Green Bay was on the clock last, I thought that they were going to draft Darnell Washington, and I was going to say they haven't had a tight end, like that since Mercedes Lewis, and now they're using Mercedes Lewis as his draft comp. This is a big man that is athletic, but not quite as athletic as a guy like Darren Waller. but he looks more powerful than Darren Waller. So he looks like a unique type talent. This is a big boy. That is a big boy. And the Cardinals, by the way, have their pick in, which means the Bengals are on the clock because they moved back with a trade with Kansas City. And now Kenny Pickett has George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth, and Darnell Washington. That is a solid lineup. I'm telling you, on paper, when we go into this next year, I feel like we've never had every team this good. See if the Cardinals get better. Michael Wilson, wide receiver out of Stanford for Carolina. So trying to get some weapons for Kyler Murray. Obviously, we know DeAndre Hopkins is still trying to find his home. So Michael Wilson. His biggest knock has been consistency, but that's due to injury. Athleticism, 75. Led team with 4 reception touchdowns in 2022. It's not a ton, but 176 receiving yards at Washington in 2022. So he had a game against Washington that he just went off. Stanford versus Washington. So now the Bengals have their pick in. They traded back with Kansas City. I always want to know if they ever call and they're like, yeah, we'll trade with you, but you got to promise me you're not drafting this guy. And then they say, yeah, we're not drafting him. And he's like, all right, you can have it, but you're still going to give me all this capital. So the pick is in for the Bengals. Here we go. The Bengals, they address their cornerback, but there's still Ringo available from Georgia. I like him, Keely Ringo. But Purine, yeah, I think this is where Rashawn Johnson goes. They need another running back. Joe Mixon needs a guy. Here we go. Who Day Nation. Come on, you got a Vietnam veteran. He goes to salute the crowd and then they take the camera off. I want to see that. Amen to that. Jordan Battle, safety out of Alabama. We were looking at his profile earlier. Jordan Battle. Oh, they just took him off my board here. Overall grade 73, second team All-Pro. He's going to come in and plug in as the starter immediately. The Commanders are on the clock. They needed a cornerback. They addressed their cornerback. They need offensive tackle and an offensive guard and a tight end. Look, what that basically boils down to is they need people that can block. DeJuan Jones is the best offensive tackle on the board right now. And the Lions just traded. Oh no, the Lions pick is in. Broderick Martin, Western Kentucky defensive tackle. This is they're saying one of the best defensive tackles that didn't get a combine invite. Got a great swim move, but this dude is huge. This is a big body. He takes up a lot of space on the field. He's good with his hands for his size, too. Definitely, yeah, they're happy about that. And now they planned yesterday when they moved back. So the Lions only have 2 more picks left after getting Gibbs, Campbell. So the Commanders pick is in. We got to hit a commercial break. But the Commanders, like I was trying to say, offensive guard, offensive tackle, tight end, they need somebody that can block. So the best offensive tackle available right now, Ohio State's DeJuan Jones. This dude's 6'8", 374 pounds. He's massive. And I think the Commanders might be his home. Steve's in the chat and said, Key, all. Any cute cheerleaders drafted yet, preferably with no bat and baseballs? Could you imagine? Could you imagine if they just lined up, a group of 700 cheerleaders and NFL teams did a draft and they did their own combine and workouts and drills and I feel like there's an entire market that is being untapped now that I really think about it. And I think it would just come off as probably a little politically incorrect. Definitely. But you know what? If they want to be there, then that's on them. It's a job at the end of the day. Being a cheerleader is a job. To say that, oh, you're objectifying them. No, I don't think so. You just don't respect their job. I think that this is an untapped market. And I'm going to write a letter, as the girl in white chicks would say. You know what? I'm going to write a letter. It would have been a hit back in the 70s on TV for sure. I still think it would be a hit. You get to watch the combine. I want to see 40-yard dash. I want to see like real, maybe like a mud run or something like that. See who wants it the most. It would be a very XFL thing to do. Steve McMahon, I believe, was the guy that was behind that. So here we go. Motley Crue is going to perform tonight after the draft. That must have been a fun phone call. Hey, Motley Crue, do you guys want to play? And Thundercat will perform on Saturday. The pick is in. They're showing the Commanders draft room right now, and it looks like there's no life in there. I think they were expecting there to be some high fives and stuff. No, they definitely had no idea they were on camera. They were not excited. That sounds like an offensive tackle to me. Ricky Stromberg, center, Arkansas. Ricky Stromberg. Okay. He was the 5th ranked center, 6'3", 306 pounds out of Arkansas. Good with angles. Keeps his feet moving, very important. So 63 grade. Not great. Highly competitive player with nasty streak and good lower body strength for his size. And now the Browns pick is in. And it's crazy though that it just seems like there was better talent on the board. But Commanders like their guy. Maybe they're not trying to get better. I don't know. Because you still have DeJuan Jones on the board. Blake Freeland's on the board. Yep. So that's how you say that. Siaka Ika, defensive tackle out of Baylor. 6'2", 335 pounds. Runs a 5'3". And you know who's still available? Adetomiwa Adebawor, the guy that I can't say out of Northwestern. That guy's still available. And you know who always ends up getting a stupid amount of talent? And you just wonder how they keep accumulating it? It's because they keep drafting it, and that's the 49ers. I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers get one of the nastiest defensive players available. If not, it'll be interesting to see who ends up with our Northwestern guy. The pick is in. Jake Moody. Rich Eisen loves himself some Wolverines. The 49ers picked a kicker. This was the best kicker in the draft. This is the best kicker Michigan has ever had, says Rich Eisen. This dude is automatic. Robbie Gould, I believe, was their guy there. He's getting very old. Wow, this dude is nasty. Jake Moody. 29 field goals made, led all of college football. Wow. The first kicker pick is in, says KC. It's a great pick in the 3rd for them. Dude, and honestly, as much as people are like kicker, dude, when your game's on the line, like your kicker is so important. It's so it's so easy to just be like, "Oh, we'll just find one." When you don't have a kicker, you realize how rare they are. You start getting people off the practice squad and then you're like, "Oh, I understand why this guy was on the practice squad." And then you're just like, "I guess we'll have to draft one next year." The 49ers avoided that entire disaster and they were like, "We have an old kicker. We need to get a new one." While the old one is still, playing at a high level. Robbie Gould was not the best kicker in the NFL last year, but he was solid. I never had an issue with anything. He had he had a long of 51 yards though. So he does not have that leg on him. Wow. Robbie Gould, no, not just last year. Guys, this is going to be the craziest stat that you're going to hear all day. Robbie Gould is in his 27th season. 27. He is 20. That can't be right. How could he be current season 27? He's only 40 years old. Could that add up? I Robbie Gould on potential reunion with Bears. Robbie Gould being a little pricky about next team. So Robbie Gould is a free agent. That's what's going on here. Okay. Sorry, I'm not keeping up with all the kickers, but I should be. Robbie Gould's a free agent. There's a potential reunion going to happen with the Bears, but the the 49ers have drafted their new kicker. And Robbie Gould is 40 years old and he's not done kicking field goals. Now this is what's crazy, okay? In the regular season, okay, that was 2022. His longest field goal is 51 yards last season. His longest ever in his career is 58 yards. So he made 13 of 14 from 20 and 29 yards last season. He was 5 for 5 from 30 to 39, but 40 to 49, 7 for 11. But he was 2 for 2 for 50 and plus, which was only 50 and 51 or 51 and 51. He was 50 for 51 extra points. He made 84% of his kicks. I mean, this guy this guy definitely should still be a kicker in the NFL. But 49ers probably want to have that advantage or the luxury of being 55 to 60 yards out and know that they can send in a kicker and they don't have to punt it right there. So that's what the 49ers have just addressed, which is very, very valuable. And they end up just using look with it when your team is as stacked as the 49ers, you can draft the best kicker in the third round. And actually, it's genius. It is genius. I love everything the 49ers do as far as a business. Steve said, yeah, finally a kicker. Should have been the second overall pick, I think. Bill said Packers still have like 8 picks tomorrow. Just ask the Raiders how important a kicker is. No, Packers have 9 tomorrow. Wow. That's insane. 9 picks tomorrow. Jeez. It's so hard for me not to get jealous. So, the best value on the board is the cornerback that I have been chatting about for about 15 picks. Georgia's Keely Ringo. The Raiders are picking here. Let's see if they take him off the board. 49ers are on the clock. Trey Tucker, wide receiver, Cincinnati. Wow. So getting a guy, you know, if he's super fast. They got Devontae Adams. I thought Hollins was really good last year too, but they remember just 4 years ago now, they drafted Henry Ruggs III in the first round, right before Jerry Jeudy got drafted to the Broncos. And the Raiders maybe are looking to recover from what happened in that scenario. And the 49ers pick is in. They're all about the business right now. They got their kicker. I guess they thought that the Raiders were interested in kicker as well. So that's why they go kicker there. Because if you're picking, 2 out of 3, you only would go kicker first. Cameron Latu, tight end out of Alabama. Tight ends coming off the board here. Cameron Latu, 6'4", 6'4" and 3/8, 242 pounds, ran a 4.7. What round was George Kittle drafted in? George Kittle was drafted with the 146th overall pick, and this is the 101st overall pick. George Kittle got a lot of football in, but look, the elephant in the room in the draft room is they can't pay all the talent that they have on their team right now. And they are going to have to start thinking about who they're going to have to let walk. And that may be George Kittle's replacement. Drafted an entire 47 spots above where they drafted George Kittle. The Vikings selection is in. The Vikings are the last pick in today's draft. Mekhi Blackmon, USC cornerback, off the board. That's a great point. Working against Jordan Addison every day in practice, that'll polish you better than anything. Wow, he looks solid. Always in position. Wow. Quick reads, good hit movement, good recovery speed, and then looks like he's got good hands when it comes to making the play on the ball. Wow. He looks longer than he is. He plays longer. I wonder what his arm length is, 31 inches for a player that's 5'11". 31 inches at 5'11". And Chicago is unofficially on the clock right now. Round 4 not started yet. But Chicago Bears will be opening up tomorrow with either a trade or a draft of their own. And for tomorrow, the draft is 4 to 7. So I have to work from 12 to 6. So 4 to 7 Eastern time would be pretty much the whole entire thing. So I'm not going to be able to stream 4 through 7, but what I will be able to do while I'm at work is do a deep dive into these players that are being drafted and make a video following the draft of my favorite selections from 4 through 7. And I'm going to put a lot of work into that video, and it's going to be solid. It'll probably be a good 20-minute video with film and stuff like that. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you liked the fact that we're back in the studio, and I also hope that you guys feel like your teams are a lot better today. Bill, your Giants are better today than they were last night. That is for sure. The Broncos have added another wide receiver and Jason Sehorn and a nasty linebacker that's good at covering running backs. That's good for Denver. For what we have, it's working out, okay? And then you got Jinja. The Colts are definitely a lot better. According to my uncle, you have the best quarterback in the draft. And we'll see, because he's not the only crazy guy to say that. We actually saw an article come out the day before the draft that said Anthony Richardson should be picked number 1 because of his ceiling. We'll see. Tennessee drafted Will Levis. I predicted that Tennessee was going to move up late into the first round yesterday and draft him. Instead, they stay patient and draft him right away to open up the second round. So, when is the clock? How much sand is in that hourglass for Ryan Tannehill? We're gonna have to wait and see, but I mean, Malik Willis, this definitely tells me Malik Willis is like not it, right? I knew right away, and like I said, I don't do this for a living. So if I know, I'm sure everyone else does, he was not going to be good in the NFL unless, you know, a jump that I've never seen before happens. He looked like he was not ready to be in the NFL. So Malik Willis project is over, and now we kind of move on to the Will Levis, Ryan Tannehill. And remember, last year Ryan Tannehill was very standoffish when Malik Willis was drafted. So it's mean Rick did was breaking that down. So how will Ryan Tannehill approach Will Levis? Will be more the same. That's going to be something that's fun to look forward to see. And is it even possible Will Levis can play himself into the starting quarterback week 1? I'm not sure at this point. I would say probably not. They probably want him to have maybe 1 or 2 years behind Tannehill. But just like when Russell Wilson was drafted to Seattle, they had just paid, I forget I forget his name right now, but they just gave him a huge contract, and Russell Wilson went out in the preseason and earned himself the job. And it was a bummer for the Seahawks. They were like, dude, we just paid this other quarterback, all this money, and this third, fourth round pick, fifth round pick, I think he was a fourth round pick out of Wisconsin, is going to be our starter. I mean, anything can happen when you get into that preseason and you prove like you're the best option. Ryan Tannehill had a rocky start to his career in Miami, and they tossed his ass out of Miami. And maybe Ryan Tannehill is not that he's gotten a lot better. It's just that he's playing for a really great coach in Mike Vrabel. And if that's the case, maybe Mike Vrabel could even make Will Levis play at a higher level than Ryan Tannehill. It'll definitely be something to follow going into the offseason. We got a lot more picks tomorrow. Like you said, the Packers got 9 picks in the in tomorrow, which is more than most teams have in the entire draft. Bill said we freaking killed it, and he's right. A lot of patience paid off there for the Giants. The G-men doing what they need to do to keep up with those guys that the Eagles drafted, Jalen Carter. I don't know how they were able to pull it off, but they were. And then the Giants respond by getting a center and an elite wide receiver just in, the second and third round. So that has been, obviously, as we move forward, it just depends what you're into. Most of the hype is around that first round because those are the names you know. But as we get into these later rounds, that is kind of, if you really are a nerd and you just want to nerd out on football, that's when you get to kind of put on your scouting hat and try to see which one of these guys that didn't really get an invite to the combine is going to become something special. And me personally, I love that. So I'm going to be nerding out tomorrow, looking at highlights, videos, and then I'm going to put together a nice long video for you guys tomorrow about my favorite selections from rounds 4 through 7. And I'm even going to do draft grades for every team, and including 49ers, who just got themselves a really good kicker after sending Robbie Gould to possibly a reunion with the Bears. But we're just going to have to wait and see for now. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for liking the video and showing up. And sorry that I got in a little bit late, but we were all here together, so I enjoyed it. And Steve said that is where we might be lucky enough to see the next Tom Brady or Joe Montana, and that's the energy I'm talking about. That's how I view those rounds right there. The next Brock Purdy, you have to wait till the very last pick to see that guy. So, thank you guys again. If you're new to the channel, we had some new people in. Please subscribe to the channel. And if you're enjoying the content, share it with somebody. Let them know about this channel so we can continue to grow and get better as an entire channel. And as a family, we love you and we thank you guys for being here. So I will see you guys tomorrow. And until then, go Broncos. See ya!